Hey fam, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at historical Madison, Indiana, probably one of our all-time favorite places to film. The history down here is impeccable. The townspeople have done a great job at preserving history from downtown with all the row housing and buildings and the historical buildings down here. Most of the town is on the historical registry. You guys can find more about that at the Jefferson County Historical Society. Just check them out online and get some more information. They have the regatta down here, which is phenomenal. But we're coming down to film today, but when we do, we like to check out the local restaurants, the local flair, see where the local people like to go and eat. And probably the most popular place to go to is where we're at today. That's Brittany's Brick Oven Pizza, or better known as B-Bop's. The guy that owns this restaurant studied under someone in New York City who is an award-winning pizza maker. He used to have an Italian restaurant here, I do believe, and he decided to leave that to continue with this pizzeria, and it's easy to understand why, because while we were here, he's not open a lot, but while we were here, it was a non-stop line and people were in and out and in and out and in and out like you would not believe. So if you ever get an opportunity, you have to come down here and check him out. And he's got an online presence, a Facebook page and all that. All you got to do is look up B-Bop Pizza, B-P-O-P, B-Bop, or Brittany's Brick Oven Pizza. So I'm gonna let him give you guys a little bit more information about that. Just do yourself a favor, come and visit Madison, Indiana. This place is just absolutely chock full of history and the best people you could ever want to meet. We've been greeted with open arms, and the owner here has agreed to meet with us at the last minute. I mean, just very welcoming. So let's go in and let's go ahead and get the owner to come out and give you guys a little bit more information. Love you. Hey fam, we're sitting here today with the owner of Brittany's Brick Oven Pizza, or better known as B-Bop's. This is Scott.
Hi.
Scott, I appreciate you having us, especially at the last minute. So would you mind giving us a little bit of history about how you got started in the pizza business and how B-Bop's came about?
Well, I started in the pizza business because I had owned another restaurant, and it was the Key West Shrimp House. There was one in Madison's. There was different ones across the state. I did that for 30 years, got kind of burnt out, and sold it. Did a few other things, and my wife and I decided to open a pizza place. And the only problem with that was I didn't know how to cook pizza. I could cook Totino's and Tombstones all day long, but I couldn't cook pizza. So what I did, I was smart enough to know I was stupid, so I went to New York, and I worked, studied under a 4-time world champion pizza chef.
Very nice.
It was very expensive, but I was in his restaurant, so he taught me the dough recipes, the sauce recipes, how to basically run a pizza business, which is different than a seafood business because of all the different prep work and things you have to do, the timing. And that's how we got started. We bought an oven that's almost identical to his oven. Everything we've tried to do is emulate his success, worldwide success, and yet keep it kind of a Midwestern flair, because we put a lot more toppings out here than they do in New York. I don't think he'd be real happy with me.
And you guys won't believe this brick oven. This thing is absolutely huge. And I think you had said when we met you before that the oven's probably more expensive than the business itself.
Well, it costs half as much as the building.
Half as much as the building. It's huge. We'll take you in there and show you the oven here in a little bit. Do you have any other, outside of here, do you have any other stories of locations or places that we could visit?
Well, there's the Fulton Cemetery, which was located by the Shrimp House in a field between the Shrimp House and the Riverboat Inn. And what was interesting about that is as they tried to widen the streets and go through, they kind of barreled through the cemetery. They took all the bones and put them in basically a mass grave. But that's not all the bones,
right.
A lot of them. See, because most of them, what they did is back in the day at that time, to call a grave move, they would take a scoop of dirt and head some.
Oh, right.
So you could see all the graves during the drought where they would sink out in that field.
Oh, wow.
And they all were buried down at Springdale Cemetery at the bottom of Hanging Rock Hill.
Oh, wow.
Right there at the Shrimp House on Ferry Street, where the other street intersects, basically by the kitchen door, they found an Indian chief buried. and he was sitting upright
Oh.
and looking out towards the water.
And how did you find out about this? Did you...
Well, actually, a friend of mine who lived up the street told me about it. He says, "Oh, it's all documented, and it's you can look it up on the internet. Fulton Cemetery, Madison, Indiana." And there are articles taken from the Madison Courier written about 1875, something like that is when that article was originally published.
That'd be very interesting, especially an Indian chief. I wonder how they did the interments at the new cemetery. What was the name?
Springdale.
Springdale?
Yeah, Springdale.
And
Cemeteries.
there's another cemetery here that you have family buried at, isn't there?
There is.
Is that also
Fairmount Cemetery.
Fairmount? Okay.
Yep.
Because there's also, isn't there a Fulton Cemetery as well?
The Fulton Cemetery's gone.
That's
yeah.
That's the original one.
Right. That was the first cemetery in Madison.
So the one we looked at, there was another one. I think that must have been in Fulton County, probably.
Yeah, there's one over at Shaw. The Shaw by the school there.
Yeah, she's my brains.
If
I don't,
mine too.
If I don't have her with me or recorded on the camera, I'll forget. So.
Yeah, so there's three. Yeah, there's the Fairmount, this one, and then there's Grandview, which is farther out 421 towards across from the Jefferson County Proving Ground, which is now a park.
And you have do you have an online presence here or a Facebook page?
I do, both. It's Brittany'sPizza.com, or you can just look us up on the Facebook at Brittany's Pizza, B-Bops.
Yeah, and they've got some pictures on there. We're going to get some B-roll of the inside of the restaurant. But there's also some imagery on Facebook. If you guys want to go give him a follow on Facebook, there's some pictures of the brick oven there and some of the things that they serve. So you guys you're going to want to scratch and sniff. It's not going to do it justice, but just the visuals alone is going to get you hooked. You have to come to Madison, Indiana. So, but anyway, thanks guys, and thanks again, Scott. I really appreciate that. You've been so cordial and met with us at the last minute. So I really appreciate the hospitality. All right, thanks. See you guys.